What's up?
Hey.
Collab?
Sure.
BoJack Horseman?
Why not?
Skit?
Absolutely not!
Just a robot.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. I'm known for talking about BoJack Horseman as well as other animations. And today, I've broken into Jar's house so we can talk about this video.
First, for a little context.
It's a video, and we don't like it. The end. Let's get to the commentary.
We've talked about a lot of BoJack Horseman theories, from death to heartache to childhood trauma. But honestly, this theory needed its own video. This horse might be gay, y'all! I'm Winnie Van Linningham, and today we're exploring the theory that BoJack Horseman is in the closet.
Now, I want you to pay close attention to what Winnie is saying. This theory needed its own video. There's some insinuation there that, for some reason, the possibility of BoJack being gay just needed to be talked about. Generally, when I hear something like that, I conclude that the evidence supporting the theory is so strong, yet the theory itself hasn't been confirmed yet, like the Sarah Lynn stepdad theory. But, as we're about to find out, that's not the case, and this is just a very misleading intro to get you more interested in the subject than you should be.
Before we begin, gotta shout out to all of our awesome patrons over on Patreon. Thanks to donors like you, we get to keep making videos that ruin your childhood and fill you in on stuff you missed.
Oh, come on now. You're not ruining my childhood. You're ruining what I'm enjoying right now.
You can also show your support by subscribing and hitting that bell so you always get notified about new content.
My god, I'm just really sick of channels saying, please subscribe and hit that bell icon, especially at the beginning of the video. If you're gonna do it, at least do it at the end of the video. I haven't seen what your content is like yet.
Gonna have to disagree with you there, Jar. While I do think it's bad for the video entertainment-wise, I completely understand why people do it from a business perspective. I, for one, am prone to click off the video once I realize it's ended. Any important message, if put at the end, is less likely to be seen. That's why more and more sponsored channels put their ads at the beginning or the middle rather than the end. I don't like it, but I understand it.
Fans have discussed the homosexual overtones in the show for a while now, usually with fan shipping of Bojo and Mr. Peanut Butter.
Okay, just because a few people ship two characters who are male together, it doesn't mean they believe there's gay undertones. Hell, I remember in the My Little Pony fan base, someone shipped a baby with a tree.
Herb helped BoJack work on a stand-up act, wrote horsing around for his best bud, and always brought him along on dates with Charlotte. I get being able to hang out with your friend and whoever you're dating, but all the time?
Well, BoJack even said he felt like a third wheel, and it was more Herb's idea because, Herb was the gay one and he was in love with BoJack.
And if we're gonna play that card, why are we excluding Charlotte here? There's just as much evidence to suggest that she had feelings for BoJack just like Herb. But unlike Herb, we know BoJack had feelings for her. Why does being a third wheel here suggest BoJack leans more towards Herb than he does Charlotte?
You guys don't need to include me on your dates. Sometimes it makes me feel like a third wheel.
Oh my god, you even played the clip of BoJack saying he felt like a third wheel in the relationship.
While it's true that in an argument you're supposed to address points that might counter you, you're not just supposed to pretend that those points help prove yours.
Plus, BoJack's picture was on Herb's work desk.
Yes, Herb is the gay one, and he's in love with BoJack. Just because a gay guy's in love with you, it doesn't make you gay.
I love Chris a whole bunch, but I don't have her framed on my workspace. That desk real estate is saved for Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart, the girl who played Bella from Twilight? That's your celebrity crush? She looks like a corpse. Man, this explains a lot.
Realize that they're the same person, right?
Same person, different Ghiblies. Mama has a type. Strong jawlines, decent acting ability, and emotional unavailability. Yes.
Wait, we're still talking about Kristen Stewart, right? I mean, you have to be pretty dumb to use decent acting ability and Kristen Stewart in the same sentence.
The only reason this cringe-inducing part exists is because Winnie wants to remind everyone that she's bisexual, and thus that will make you think that she's a bit more of an expert on the matter. However, we all have brains, but that doesn't make us all neurosurgeons. Being involved in the thing you're talking about doesn't necessarily make you an expert.
And of course, Herb kissed BoJack, so duh, you love that pony boy.
Yes, and BoJack was uncomfortable with it. I'm so confused by this video.
It feels like you forgot the premise of the video, Winnie. Remember what you said at the beginning?
I'm Winnie Van Linningham, and today we're exploring the theory that BoJack Horseman is in the closet.
Yet you spent this entire time so far talking about Herb. What does this have to do with BoJack being in the closet? It's almost as if you're trying to use the fact that Herb was gay to force people into linking that somehow makes BoJack gay.
I personally believe that Herb is the only person who has ever truly understood and accepted BoJack.
Good for you. How does that make him gay?
BoJack needs that kind of love and understanding.
Good for him. How does that make him gay?
He's a narcissist with tons of mommy and daddy issues.
Being a narcissist with tons of mommy and daddy issues doesn't make you gay.
Herb gets BoJack's sense of humor, and we all know that the strongest comedy bonds stem from shared hatred.
It sure does, but, I have a question that I was hoping you might answer. Where is it? Here it is. How does that make BoJack gay?
Every flashback with Herb sets off the homing mechanism in my brain that allows me to seek and identify other gays.
Oh, that's just my gaydar.
This is what I was talking about before. Because Winnie is bisexual, she thinks that somehow gives her an advantage in identifying other bisexuals. Like I said before, being involved doesn't make you an expert. Now, on some level, this could make sense, like how most introverts have similar behavior to other introverts. But I'm still waiting for her to tell me how.
I think she's getting to that part now.
All of their moments in the flashbacks before BoJack was a total a-hole were so heckin' sweet. If they hadn't met in the 80s, I'm sure they could have had a totally platonic bromance.
Yes, they were friends. Just because you're friends with someone, it doesn't mean you want to bang them.
So, you're apologizing?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't forgive you.
His betrayal of Herb seems to go way deeper than simply stabbing a friend in the back.
He didn't stab his friend in the back. He stabbed his best friend in the back. The one who helped him get his dream career.
Okay, this is really starting to get frustrating. Because this moment has so much significance in the show, Winnie here is trying to attach her completely void of truth theory to it in order to force some kind of significance.
His inability to have positive interpersonal relationships with anyone after losing Herb could be connected to him being confused by his love for Herb.
I'm sorry, what?
His inability to have positive interpersonal relationships with anyone after losing Herb.
Say that one more time for me.
His inability to have positive interpersonal relationships.
Sigh. BoJack has had several positive relationships since his betrayal of Herb. Diane, Princess Carolyn, Todd, Charlotte, the list goes on. But maybe you meant relationships that ultimately stay positive. Even still, did you forget Hollyhock was a thing?
But is that enough to conclude that he's a gay or bisexual man? Or horse? Or horseman?
And this is it, folks. This is the moment that sealed it for me. I could forgive this video if it hadn't been for this moment. See, it's perfectly fine to explore a theory. It's perfectly fine to list out evidence of said theory, even if it's as flimsy as it has been in this video. But what Winnie does next is not only counterproductive to the video, but a pretty big insult to anyone who makes videos similar to hers. Winnie just asked a question, an important question that's very pertinent to her video's premise. This is the part of the video where she's supposed to answer it, where she should have said yes or no. But what's the very next phrase that comes out of her mouth?
I think we can all at least agree that this was BoJack's healthiest relationship, even if it wasn't romantic.
She doesn't even answer the freaking question! Winnie completely ignores a very important question relevant to her video in order to state a completely irrelevant truth. This goes against the very basics of forming an argument. Even if you're making a completely different point, it's important to answer any questions that are related to it. In my video asking whether Mr. Peanut Butter is happy, the point of the video was that stopping at such a simple question was a mistake, that people should explore the character more than just seeing that he's happy. But I still answered the question. Winnie completely avoids her own very important questions, most likely because she knows the answer is no! Any theorist worth their salt would have explained to the audience how the evidence they've just presented proves or disproves their point.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this now. There's no way BoJack could be gay. Bisexual? Maybe, but definitely not gay. Shady Doorags, would you care to give a few examples why?
Why are you asking me? Do you think I just carried clips of BoJack Horseman around with me? Just because you're right doesn't mean you're right to assume.
I think you got the wrong idea here.
Yeah, no, man. Whoa.
Herb, I'm not...
Me either. No, I just, I got caught up in the moment.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Hey, this is a dumb question, but do you guys ever, all link up together and do, a party train or a fun circle? Because I feel like I'd be doing that all the... Never mind. Stupid question. Feel stupid for asking that. You don't want to interview me anymore? But don't you want to know what my rosebud is?
You told me repeatedly it was the nudie magazine your uncle showed you with the three-nippled woman.
Who was she?
I got it all.
Well, who else is on this list? Stacy, Fabiana, Tanya Harding. She's not going to be happy to see me.
Let's tie in Herb to BoJack's relationship with Todd. Done as a sort of throwaway line, we learn in the pilot episode of the series that BoJack brought Todd into his home 2 years prior because he thought Todd was a homeless gay teen.
You told me they didn't approve of your alternative lifestyle. Thought you were like a troubled gay teen or something. I didn't realize by alternative lifestyle that you meant you were lazy.
Wow, that's actually somewhat a decent example. Unless, of course, you think about it for more than 5 seconds. BoJack said he thought Jesse Pinkman, Todd was a troubled gay teen or something. Clearly implying he thought Todd was kicked out by his family unfairly. Helping out a gay person doesn't make you gay.
We of course now know that Todd is asexual, and BoJack is not altruistic enough to have done something like this out of the kindness of his heart. This seems like something BoJack did out of guilt more than altruism.
No, he did it because he's lonely. He even sabotages Todd's rock opera so he doesn't leave.
Oh my goodness, we've gone from making moments from the show mean what you want to completely ignoring them. The show explains why BoJack gives Todd a place to live on multiple occasions.
And you said, "Thank you for letting me stay here. I don't have anywhere else to go." And I remember when you said that. I don't have anywhere else to go because I felt good about myself. And I don't feel that way a lot. Letting you stay with me was the best thing I ever did on purpose. And I don't think I ever told you that, but I should have. Because you're my best friend, Todd.
Now, that simply could be guilt from how he treated the seemingly one gay friend of his in the past, or it could stem from his own closeted sexuality. It at the very least feels like some sort of penance for his behavior towards Herb.
Oh my, she did it again. She freaking did it again. If you're gonna make a video theorizing something, then state whether or not you believe the theory to be true. Don't just ask the audience the question you were supposed to answer in the video. Also, how does it feel like some sort of penance towards Herb? Because BoJack said that Todd might be gay? He also said, or something. As in, he thought Todd's reference to an alternative lifestyle was something more understandable than just being lazy. You chose to focus on the gay part because it helps your theory.
Also, BoJack goes on to sabotage Todd's life to keep him from moving out. BoJack is basically trapping his friend into this living situation so that he's not alone.
Wait, what? So you actually know the real reason why Todd is there, yet you're still forcing this BoJack must be gay theory down our throats?
Also, it once again feels like you forgot the premise of your video. This segment has nothing to do with whether or not BoJack is gay. It's just you explaining how some parts of the show are.
She goes on another rant for about 2 minutes. You're not missing much. She just does exactly what she did before. But I'm still gonna play this part just to tick Shady off.
Wait, what?
That choice and that executive stole BoJack's joy. Is that because this move ultimately leads to the end of the show, or the end of Herb's presence in BoJack's life? You be the judge.
That's 3 times. 3 times where instead of addressing anything, she's asking the audience to decipher her cryptic message. I can't.
I do think it's important to avoid sexualizing all platonic relationships.
I don't believe you.
Not unless that was your evil twin we've been watching for the past several minutes.
You can see that BoJack is surrounded by Keith Haring paintings. Haring was an artist whose pop art and graffiti style work was inspired by New York street culture in the 80s. His later work typically addressed political and social issues, especially homosexuality and AIDS.
Well, maybe BoJack likes the art. I like H.G. Wells, but I'm not a socialist like he was.
The logic here is baffling. Hey audience, if you're a fan of mine and you enjoy my BoJack Horseman videos, then you also love Sonic 06. Why? Because I love Sonic 06. That's how fans work.
And that's a fact.
The show also heavily features the treading water painting constantly, which is a Hollywood version of David Hockney's portrait of an artist pool with two figures. But what also makes sense is that Hockney was also a gay man who explored the nature of gay love in his portraits.
Okay, I'm really scared about my own background now. I mean, Dwayne McDuffie worked on Ben 10, and I have Ben 10 magnets in the background, so does that mean I'm black?
Well, my background definitely means I'm black. It's funny because it's the color purple.
Now, Herb wasn't the only dude to smooch BoJack. He and Mr. Peanut Butter kissed as well. For me, this is the weakest evidence. I'm not a fan of coupling these two, and certainly don't believe that kiss had anything to do with romance or male attraction.
Oh, finally, she gives a definitive answer on the evidence given. But I'm not going to give her much credit here. Winnie takes the time to tell the audience that she's not a fan of shipping BoJack and Mr. Peanut Butter. Why mention that unless it's somehow pertinent? But I'm guessing that's the driving reason this was dismissed. And if the driving reason for dismissing evidence is something personal like that, you don't deserve the credit for dismissing it.
I want to talk about those Stallions BoJack watched in season 3. I know theorists might be reaching with this one.
Oh really? Just this one? Can't possibly imagine any other places you might be reaching?
I don't know, man. This scene from the season 3 finale screams homoerotic to me. These pony boys are drawn incredibly muscular, and they're also dripping with sweat.
Yeah, it's almost like they are muscular and dripping with sweat. Who knew that people who exercise are more fit than people who don't exercise? And also that when you're exercising, you sweat more than when you're not exercising.
This is the moment that makes BoJack realize that he can be free, just like these wild horses.
Yes.
He can let go of all the things that are holding him back.
Yes.
His fear of intimacy, his obsessions with fame and legacy, and his crippling fear of being intimate with someone.
You said fear intimacy twice, but still, yes! The scene was about BoJack understanding he can be free if he lets go. Glad to see you're finally making sense.
I can definitely see how that, coupled with the styling of the horses, has led folks to think that these hunky horses are a metaphor and a thirst trap for old Bo.
Wait, what? How? How do you go from this is a symbolic scene to, and it totally makes sense that other people think it means he's gay? You're gonna explain how those dots connect? No, you're just gonna assume that makes sense and let us figure it out. Of course you are, yeah.
Of course, this is just a theory.
Yeah, well, it's a dumb theory. I'm really getting sick of the LGBT community trying to make every single character ever gay. In Incredibles 2, Mrs. Incredible waved at someone. OMG, she's a lesbian. Diva was on a team that was made up of mostly guys, but one person on her team was also a woman like her. OMG, confirmed lesbian.
While I'm sure there are people out there who do think BoJack might be gay, Nerdwire just seems to want to ride the hype train on this topic. This video has horrible evidence. It's presented in a way that's more confusing than anything, and answers none of the relevant questions, including the question the title poses. It's videos like these that make it much more difficult for people who actually care about the show and want to have a meaningful conversation. To anyone else who wants to make a BoJack Horseman theory, or any theory really, I encourage you to do so, but make sure you learn how to form an argument, use evidence correctly, and be honest with yourself and your audience, because videos like this one do more harm than good.
You know, a lot of people complain about Matt Pat's game theory videos, and say he often reaches for evidence.
Like me.
But after seeing this, I now have a newfound appreciation for Matt Pat, because he might secretly be a closeted homosexual! My eyes have seen the glory of the cleansing of YouTube, debunking SJWs and feminazis too. We criticize reactionists in hopes they get the boot, just to roll on marches on.
Now that she's out of the way, I can concentrate on finding gay people.